Hi, hello, good evening, and good day. This is a wild week in the Big Brother
Woo!
26 house. We are back. We are so back. We had a fight on Saturday, only aired last night. There's so much to get into, but we want to know who your favorite players are for the week. So scan the QR code, get those votes in, let us know in the comments. Hashtag first name, who you feeling, let us know. Lots to get into. Let's not waste any more time. Say it with me. Let's get into it. No one said it. I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. This is Strat Chat. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We have dropped the blue sky. We couldn't care less. Once Twitter made us start paying in order to stream to all of you beautiful people, we dropped it. We said, you know what, forget it, paying $8 a month. Blue Sky can go fuck themselves. So here we are. No, Matt, you can hashtag more than one person. Just keep throwing those hashtags in there. At least that's what we think we can do. Like, you can be our tester. Go ahead, throw them hashtags in. Let's see what happens.
I can change my name. Perfect.
Of course you can change your name.
No, I didn't know how to do it on Evie Max, so now I'm ready.
Get with it.
Wow,
Jeez.
wait, so Gina's about to stand somebody?
I've been standing from preseason, and you know that. I feel validated now.
Is that so? You feel validated. All right, so, thank goodness I knew the correct last name. I was like, I think that's Quinn. Let me just click this.
Even just paying attention to me on social media, you better have known it was Quinn. All right, Quinn, baby.
Right out of the gate, why is Quinn the person you're feeling the most? Other than the fact that he's on your team, but what else?
No, I love Quinn so much and Quinn is giving us like exactly what we want to. I feel like there have been so many moments this season where like he's already gone into a separate room and done like his cam talks or whatever, and it's just like Quinn in the diary room, I feel like, is all of us. Like, I'm so endeared to Quinn. Quinn is my favorite. I'm rooting for Quinn.
I really like Quinn. I think Quinn was a fantastic selection for you, for sure.
Quinn also made me laugh so freaking hard tonight. Did you catch when he voted and said, "Beat you too, Zach"?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I heard that.
Literally, like, as he was leaving, he went, "Beat you too, Zach," because Corey last season said, "Beat you, Zach," because he made it more than one episode or 1 week into the show, other than Zach, who was eliminated first on Survivor. Yeah. I was like, not Quinn.
Well, did you also see...
You too. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Did you see...
BB2, Zach. I'm like,
no, like Quinn was like, "Hey, I beat you too. Bye."
Did you see though Zach's response on Twitter?
Oh, I didn't.
No.
It was very funny. Zach posted a screenshot of emails between him and Quinn. And Zach wrote, "Biggest mistake of my life, hashtag BB26." And it's just like a screenshot. It's probably gonna look terrible on the... Probably can't even tell what this is at all, right? It just says, the email has a link to a PDF that says, "Story, how a normal guy got cast .pdf." And it's Zach sending this little tutorial, I guess, on how to get cast if you're just a normal guy.
Oh my God.
And so we see Zach sending that to Quinn, and then Quinn responding, "You are a gentleman and a scholar, most sincerity." And it's signed Quinneth.
Quinneth.
Yeah.
I cannot explain in enough words how much I love Quinn.
Yeah, I think Quinn is fantastic. I think that was a really, really great get for Team Morgino, which,
very pleased.
You know, certainly not untimely, because you were also the first person on the podcast to take a hit.
I sure was.
Team Morgino takes an L this week, losing Matt. I will say that that's America's L, as far as I'm concerned, though. I feel like we lost something here.
This was
Um,
not the way this was supposed to go.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I was like rooting for Matt. Oh my gosh, this is our next winner. Absolutely not. But for the drama that was going on between him and Angela, like I definitely was on board for more Matt, and just more drum skis.
Well, even again, I feel like, and the reason why I picked Matt in the first place, in any other season, somebody of his stature, his build, his like athletic ability is winning so many more competitions. We just happen to have all crapshooty competitions, which, to be clear, is a good thing.
Is the
I'm
way
glad,
it's supposed to be.
I'm glad that we're having more crapshoot competitions, but that was not what I drafted expecting.
Right, of course, this is the season where I picked the way it's supposed to go, and now it didn't go.
Truly.
Could you imagine what the feeds would be like tonight? Like, if Matt had stayed, like the way that Angela would have been reacting, and especially if Matt like stayed and won HOH or something like that. Could you imagine?
Oh, so good. I'm also disappointed because there was some rabble on Twitter. Rabble. Like no one picked rabble. But like I also think of like a rabble rouser. And
that's what I went to.
What does a rabble rouser do? Well, I would assume they rabble.
Rabbles.
They rouse the rabble.
So there was a lot of rabble on Twitter about like possibly getting a live HOH tonight, which we did not get. And like I went through most of my workday today thinking we were getting AI Arena, an eviction, and a live HOH. And
because of the arena, I assumed there was going to be no live.
See,
HOH.
I didn't. I am still the person with the rose-colored goggles on. You know, I really thought that like that's what we're going to get. And I called John earlier when I reminded him that tonight's episode was at 8:00 and not 9.
Thank God.
But I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, we're getting so much tonight. There's also some chatter on the Twitterverse about Taylor Hale hosting the live HOH. Right. And I'm like saying all this stuff, and he's like, you think we're getting like the arena and eviction and that? And I was like, I do.
We better be.
Right. And then it was like 8:53, and like Julie's like, we'll be back with my final questions. And like if we haven't already started, we're definitely not getting like a live HOH.
Yeah, unless it had happened to be one of those. We've already had one 90-minute episode this season that I didn't think was 90 minutes. So, sitting there last Sunday, dying to watch House of the Dragon. I get 30 more minutes of Big Brother, and I had watched the feeds all day Saturday and Sunday too. So I was like,
so it wasn't necessary. It wasn't even necessary. Just a reminder, we just picked up like another like 40 viewers. I just want to remind you that we are running this live poll. We want to know who your favorite people of the week are. So scan the QR code, like vote for your favorite person, and you can vote more than once. I think, like, let us know if you can. It's like this is brand new to us, but you can also comment in the comments hashtag first name. Who would you like to toss a vote to? So yeah, there's that. So where do we even start with this week, right? Because we had already recapped, right, episodes 1 and 2. That was Wednesday and Thursday, when we were all together last Thursday.
And I believe feeds hadn't even come up yet at that point.
Right.
No, they had not. And I will say I was a little absentee from the feed universe on the Friday, but I was up paying the most attention on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Saturday is honestly where things really began to pop off. Those of us on the East Coast at least had a moment to get our English muffin and coffee together before things popped off. But for those of you on the West Coast, you had some troubles. You woke up to a very upset Angela. unbeknownst to you, she had been rehearsing this entire thing
Oh
um,
my god.
overnight. Like, what did you think about that? I thought that
The
was like,
the night vision video of her going over like a low budget a low budget move. No. Just like the
like,
way she was.
not a medium budget, but most definitely low. LLW. I'm gonna say low. Yeah, that's great. That sounds very good.
I also like somebody posted on Twitter like a short video of like part of her little rehearsal rant, and they were like, I can't believe they left the snaps in, because there's a point where she's just like, that's what I'm gonna do, and then she starts snapping, like laying in bed. like she really is so unhinged.
I live
she's
for it.
She's crazier than I ever imagined she could be. But now also seeing that she was on Dr. Phil and she was on what other Price is Right.
Price is Right. She also lives in Utah.
Oh boy, yeah.
Sorry to our Utah-ians.
Utah-ians.
What do you call them? Utahs.
Utahns?
Let us know in the comments. What do y'all call yourselves? Ain't nobody from Utah watching us. They ain't watching us. Matt wants to know if there's ever been a week one meltdown quite like this.
Not to this extent that I can remember. I mean, well, I've only been watching live from 19 and on, so I can't say old school Big Brother, but
right. And I also don't think that people that were in power were quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen like week one meltdowns from people that had no say. Even Frenchie, I don't think was quite this bad. Well, it was bad, but in a different way.
Yeah, it's just a very different kind of erratic.
Just right. Kind of bad.
This was like a very public house meeting meltdown where I felt like Frenchie felt a lot more like he was just kind of walking from room to room and like individually annoying everybody. And then they came together and they were like, what is happening with Frenchie? Yep. This was just like everybody, like the way it started too, with Angela doing the slow clap and people like joining in thinking it's like a game. And then she just starts screaming about crazy eyes over and over again.
It was also just the fact that like she didn't just come into a room and start causing chaos. She was on the landing of the staircase while everyone else was around like that long kitchen island, as if she was like on stage delivering this monologue to, like a queen decreeing to the house, fuck that guy. I was like, what's going on?
So annoying. It's just, oh my gosh. It was all just like too much. And they also thought that there was something for entertainment because the night before they had that talent show. So they thought this slow clap was all part of a new performance. Like this talent show was spilling into Saturday AM. Much of the chagrin, it was indeed not.
I'm just so glad that I woke up on Saturday. Like I had plans to do things. Like you
really won in this situation.
I was planning to. I was literally standing in front of my TV with the feeds on, recording a voice note. I think I stopped talking. I just stopped talking.
You did
for like 10 seconds, but didn't stop recording.
Well, we could also hear things in the background.
I could hear Angela in the background freaking out, and you're just like, Can you hear this?
Well, it got to a point where I like finished that voice note and then just started holding my phone up to the TV.
And that's the thing. Like, I ended up watching because the people of Twitter were kind enough to clip this in real time as it was happening because obviously we can't freaking rewind the feeds. So I was able to like see the clips of it happening on Twitter later, but I cannot imagine what this must have been like when you didn't know it was going to happen before you started watching it.
I had no idea. I tuned in before Angela had made her way down the stairs, so it was just the whole house having breakfast. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun day. You know, feeds are back. It's a new season. The whole cast is together. This is exciting. And then this whole thing with Angela starts, and I suddenly had no plans for the whole day other than sitting. I sat in front of my TV all fucking day. I was such a lazy.
That's how I was on Monday.
Crap, yeah, for the rest of that day, and it was all because of Angela.
Yeah,
I was gonna go outside, and I was gonna do things. Nope.
It's
such a couple of blades of grass.
Angela had other plans for me for the whole country, apparently.
It's just really crazy because like we obviously saw like that meltdown and everything happen without or we, the three of us, I don't know if we like collectively didn't see
We
their
the people.
one-on-one, but like I hadn't seen anything from their one-on-one. I didn't see anybody had clipped it. I didn't see any like footage of their one-on-one before the episode aired. So then when I watched the Sunday episode, I was like, hold on. I know this is not the aggressive threat that she's like, to be clear, Matt was kind of an idiot in that one-on-one. Like, he said a couple of things that he shouldn't have said. But me, as a viewer, I took that as like, oh, he's just saying like, oh, well, if you were going to put me up, like, what am I supposed to do? Then come after you later? And she took that as, it's on site. Just
Right.
like, he shouldn't have said it. It was a wrong thing to
Yeah.
say in a one-on-one.
Right. It was not a good game move, but to say that you were physically threatened, like that's such a, there's so many layers to that, but like,
Yeah.
you need to understand your power as a straight white woman in America. You have to be so careful with what you say, because on surface level, no one's going to question what you say. So you need to be responsible in the things that you're charging people with, because like this man is now going to be marred with this forever. Like if you want to think of like somebody coming on this show to have like now a career in reality TV, it is forever marred. Like there is nobody who's going to do a deep dive, especially because you can't go back and forth in feeds. No one's diving deep to uncover the truth of this situation. At the end of the day, this person said this about you, and that's now your reputation, and you're kind of screwed.
And it's just the fact that she kept reiterating aggressively. She kept saying, no, it was aggressive.
Yes,
aggressively
aggressive,
Matt.
yeah.
And it's like, then you watch it happen, and it's like, again, I had watched the feeds on Monday. I like continued watching feeds, and I see that like when Matt is in a one-on-one with somebody, he does kind of like talk at them, and it is very intense the way that he talks at people to try to get them to like come around to what he wants. But I wouldn't call it aggressive. It's just intense. And even in that one-on-one, I didn't see that same intensity in that conversation that I saw in other conversations. So for her to harp on aggressive is really crazy.
It's a real stretch. And you know my favorite game analogy. I love to liken all of these things to Uno. And if you make me draw two, you bet your fucking ass. I don't care if I lose. I'm still going to make sure I do something to negatively impact your game. I will draw as many cards as I need to make sure that I can reverse it and make sure you draw four. Like the purpose is no longer winning. It is getting back at you. And it's like when you threaten me, you tell me that you want me to go home. Well, of course I'm going to buck up. And I'm going to say, oh no, absolutely not. I need to make sure you go. I need to make sure you draw more.
Yeah.
And like, to be clear, if I'm in that one-on-one and I'm Angela, I can see how maybe in the context of the game, you might see it as a threat of like, well, if you come for me, I'll come for you.
And it's a threat.
But the response to that is like, was that a threat? And you kind of internalize it and you say it's stored away for later just to see if anything comes out later. You don't call a house meeting and call this man
and
aggressive.
That's the problem, because it absolutely was a threat, but it's not one that warrants all of this other stuff. You made it sound as if he came to you as a young man and you were an older woman and your safety was in question. At least from what we saw, because we know that they edit certain things out to make people look good. So like we can certainly leave room for that possibility. From what we saw, though, your physical safety was not in question. The safety of your game was, and it deserved to be, because you were telling him that it was possible that his game safety was up. So like, aren't we all on the same plane? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with everything you guys said. I agree it was a dumb thing to say for Matt to even hint that he might consider putting her up, just lie. But I also feel like for Angela, like, instead of making that huge spectacle of yourself, you could have taken a couple people that you are working with that you maybe trust and said, like, I had this conversation with Matt. Kind of felt like he was threatening me. He's saying, like, if I put him up, he's coming after me or whatever. So, like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, she took it into and made it into this whole other thing. And I thought it was so over exaggerated. It was unbelievable. I don't know if she thought that like this was going to help her in some way, but I feel like it's
Especially
just
because then like you
yeah.
see the conversation with, I believe it was Joseph and Matt that like aired in this episode, where he's like, dude, you know that that's not what happened, right? And he was like, I mean, I wasn't in the room, I can't really. And that was a moment where for me, I
Yeah.
was, oh, I didn't even think about that because I saw the
Yes.
conversation and I can make an educated like decision about it.
Right.
But
That's
literally, they
fantastic.
are the only two people in the house that were present for the conversation. So what is anybody else supposed to think happened?
Which is such a perfect segue into my next point. Was it a good game move for Angela? Because just like you said, the only two people in the room were Angela and Matt. So is it also possible? So I poise this as a negative. It's a negative on Matt because it makes him look bad
Right.
that this woman said these things to him. However, if there's no one to refute things and knowing that is what the public perception would be, is this a smart game move for Angela? Because now you've put him forth as at least, so he didn't go tonight, right? That's not really a spoiler. If you're with us on tonight, you already know. I would like to believe that if you're listening to this podcast after the fact, you already know what's up. But like, so he goes, but like, what? And it worked for her, but does that continue to work? Like,
I mean, I can't sit here and say that she strategically was like, "Oh, I'm going to use this to my advantage." I don't think I don't think there was anything strategic about this.
you
She
don't
was just
think so?
pissed
You
off.
don't
I
think that
really
maybe
don't.
because she's a person who has watched Big Brother before, she kind of knows how this thing goes. You don't think there's a possibility that maybe she used what she knows about the social aspect of this game and maybe she knew how to manipulate this a little bit because she would kind of know that people would be on her side, and that the other layer to this is like if you public, so we know as a public, oh, this is a lot of layers to this, so buckle up, right? We know as a public that we get to see what these votes are, even if like they all, it's private to them, but it's not private to us. And we know that a lot of their behavior is based on, I think that people behave differently in this new era because they know there's a potential for cancellation because of the way that social media works. So is it possible that she's astute enough to know that fact, know that people won't go against it because she said this and you don't want to work against that. So people are going to vote in her favor. So you painted this person as aggressive. And even if other people don't really believe that that's how it went down, they don't want to be perceived as a person that does not believe that that was the true matter of the situation. So you've done a massive manipulation of the situation because you understand the social implications that could come when these people leave this house. Is that possible? Like, is she an undercover mastermind and we're guising it under this
I
crazy eyes thing?
I just feel like we would have seen a DR or something where she said like to me this felt like a very highly emotionally charged reaction from her.
I agree.
It didn't feel like I mean like we did see some
Really?
rehearsal on her part, but like
Right. See, and that's also what adds, I think, to my argument here,
No,
is that
I
like,
think that could be a brilliant strategy. I just don't
right,
think she
because
thought
like
that hard.
you
yeah.
rehearsed it. It takes some of the emotion out of it. You played it like it was emotional, but maybe
I
when
just
you see those clips of her rehearsing, it's just like, oh my gosh, that takes a lot of emotion out of things.
well I
Like,
feel like even the
are we
rehearsing
giving her
was
that
emotional
credit?
though. I felt like even what we saw of her with her like rehearsing felt like
I could agree. I
and
could agree.
I feel like it was her rehearsing because she had made up her mind. She wants to, and like, yeah, I guess in a way that you could consider this like she's thinking about using it strategically, but she's thinking, I'm going to put Matt on blast. But I don't think that she
Mm,
necessarily thought it through so much, like at every step of the way. Like,
okay.
I feel like it just felt very emotional. She was like, I'm going to go out there and say this. But I also felt like if it was kind of like a mastermind thing, we would have gotten a DR at some point with her being like, I'm going to use this to my advantage. Like, nobody was in the room with me and Matt. I can kind of spin this however I want. Like, I feel like we would have gotten something like that from her in a DR.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But
It's an interesting discussion point.
No, I think it would be genius if someone was thinking that far into it. I just don't think that's what happened here.
Well, because I also feel like
I only give her that a little bit of credit in that regard, because she came in here being one of the few people that we know without a doubt has actually watched the show. They understand the mechanics of it, and because she's like an older time fan, you know how the game has changed. The game has become increasingly less exciting because people don't do daring moves because of the social media implications. Like when you look to old school BB, the game wasn't much different. You know, there were certain twists that may be different, but I think that people just played with a certain level of gusto that we don't see today because they don't have the confidence to act how they might want to act because they're so nervous.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, so like I kind of wonder if like she played on that entire thing. Like either she's a genius or she's just mid.
I just feel like the other thing too is that I feel like Angela's rant successfully made two people look bad, Matt and Angela. Like I feel like like Angela was hurt by this rant also. I don't think anyone had a single negative thing to say about Angela before this moment when they were suddenly like,
like what is this?
What's wrong with Angela? So like,
I should have put that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that moment.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
And I
that
feel
was
like
the moment when I realized also that I loved Big Brother.
You've sent it to me multiple times.
Yes, because it's just so good. It's so good.
But I feel like it was after that, and then we haven't seen it. But I've heard there was a big blow up between Angela and Lisa. I did agree with Angela when she was going after Kenny in the kitchen about wanting to just kind of like roll over and give up. Like that's stupid. But I felt like, is this becoming a pattern now where Angela is getting into these very public fights with all these house guests, which makes me feel like, was she really being strategic with the one with Matt? Because it seems like she just blows up at everybody every day. She picks someone new each day.
That's another one of my favorite like Quinn things of the week, because this whole like Angela Matt thing happened in the kitchen. Quinn was sitting at the island. Then whatever it was, a couple of days later, Angela starts going off on Kenny, and the only other person in the kitchen is Quinn sitting at the island. And he's ping-ponging back and forth between them like, oh my God. So then Quinn gets up, tries to go into the bathroom, and is like, y'all, I am never sitting in the kitchen again. Bad things happen when I hang out in the kitchen. And then Angela comes in and starts retelling the fight while Quinn is sitting there going like, oh my God. So Quinn keeps leaving the room, and every room he goes into, Angela goes into it to then retell the story of the fight. And Quinn's like, oh my God, get me out of here. So then Quinn goes into a different room, is alone for 2 seconds, and then Matt comes in and starts talking at him for another like 20 minutes. And eventually Quinn ends up in like the have not room by himself, and he looks up at the camera and he's like, get me out of here. These people are crazy, and just starts going off like, I cannot do this. I can't do this.
So sorry I missed that. I'm like, listen, call me into the DR. Please just give me an anvil that I can tie to my ankle and
to get out
in the pool. Like, leave me alone.
It was so funny.
The feeds are back on, by the way.
Oh Lord. But he literally like, he goes into the have not room, he looks up at the camera, he's like, whatever happened to decorum? It is just fight after fight after fight. I don't know what's happening. And I was like, not whatever happened to decorum.
Right. Oh, say, can you see? There's no. Welcome to America. Beyonce said it best. America has a problem.
Oh my God.
Any Hoosers, like, what do we even do here? We don't want to recap these comps. Y'all already watched it. So Mackenzie and Quinn are the ones that won the upgrades, right? That's what we did not know last week. Mackenzie won America's veto, which is exactly what we thought it might be. She gets to use the veto, but the HOH does not put up the next noms. America does, which I can't wait for that to be used. That's going to be 24 hours of the most fun campaigning. Like, the best campaigning I ever did.
Oh, God.
Big Brother 23.
Yep.
I campaigned harder for Tiffany Mitchell than I think I did for Joseph Biden. I would literally.
That is true. Can confirm.
Yes, I texted people. I sent voice notes. I sent.
You were
videos.
knocking on doors.
I'm telling you,
You
I
were
was
out there
out there.
canvassing.
I took PTO to get out there and tell people to text the name Tiffany to 97979. And I'm telling you, this video, you're gonna see it back. Like I can't wait. This is the things that from like Big Brother Over the Top that we were really wanting to see back. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, right? But like, wasn't last night's episode so fucking good? Like,
it was a great one.
It was so good. I'm like, we are. I know people on Twitter keep saying we are so back, but we are. Like, I was like, oh my gosh! I'm like, this is a great episode. It had everything.
I remember this time last season being so freaking mad because Izzy was running around the house like a mad woman, and it never made the edit. And we were like, why are we not seeing the chaos? Like they're keeping stuff like only to the feeds. We're not seeing all the crazy stuff that happened. This was such an accurate edit to how
it was
bonkers bananas this week is. And like, to be fair, there was still a lot of stuff that didn't make the edit that happened. It was a really freaking crazy week, but this was pretty accurate to how things went down.
I just want to see this Lisa Angela altercation.
I didn't see that one on feeds. I can't speak to that one. I don't know what it was about.
I don't know. I don't know if like even people on the feeds really saw it. Like it might have been a time when like things were cut, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's why because I saw people talking about it tonight. So I don't know. But I haven't seen like clips of it. So I would figure if it was caught on the feeds, someone would have clipped it by now and would be on Twitter. That's why I'm wondering. But apparently, I think what I might have seen about it most was that people were talking about other house guests saying like, "Can you believe Lisa Angela fought blah blah blah?" So like, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Let's rush through things. So, Angela's initial nominees obviously were Lisa, Chemo, and Kenny. Kenny did come as a bit of a shock to me because I did feel like they had made that connection as being two of the older people in the house. I mean, I guess it's not air quotes. They are older than the people in the house. I just don't think that 50 is old.
Sure.
Because that means I'm also 11 and a half years away from it. 11, that's a lie. 10 and a half. Woo! Y'all, pray for me. But I don't really want to think that that's old. But like, they are the two of the older people in the house. So I thought they had some kind of a connection. And I think that we saw some conversation on a real episode, right? That wasn't just feeds. Like, didn't we see them kind of converse and kind of, maybe they didn't commit to something, but there seemed to be like a understanding mutual camaraderie. To which Angela said, nay, on the block. Lisa was big mad. But I was impressed with kind of how she handled it. She definitely was standing around the house, standing in corners, glaring. But that's certainly better than engaging in an altercation, right? Because you can get past the glaring. We can defend that. We can talk about that later. But like, if you make a big outburst, a little bit difficult to kind of come back from. Yeah. So I find Lisa's over-validation of people's feelings to be very annoying. But there's also a version of this, though, that where if I was in the house and this was my entire world, these are the only people I interact with, these are the only whatever, I think I might actually feel very safe with Lisa. Even though as a viewer, I think it's too much in a high-pressure environment like they're in. Maybe it's just enough. And my question to the two of you then is, do you think that maybe her over-validation might be something that might kind of keep her in? Because I don't think, even if she didn't win this veto, I don't think she was in a bad spot.
I think Lisa's an interesting one.
Yeah, she's super interesting. Yeah, I would love to dive into her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's clear that people in the house are annoyed with her.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker especially.
Oh, they're super annoyed.
Yeah. But
Tucker cannot stand her.
Yeah. But I don't she doesn't really seem, not that she can't be eventually, but right now anyway, she doesn't really seem like a threat to anyone. Has she, if I just missed it, has she talked about who she would target, who she would like? I don't even think
I
she
don't
really
believe
wants
so.
to win HOH.
Mm-mm.
Like she's just there giving edible glitter out to everybody.
I'm not sure if she needs to win HOH, and that's what kind of excites me about Lisa.
Right. Like I don't
Because
think that somebody like even Tucker, if he was to win the next HOH, would be like, Lisa's got to go right now. Like I feel like he would even want to look at other targets. I don't think that anyone's looking at Lisa right now. Like she's
right.
people don't seem to love her, so she's not a big social threat. I
Yeah.
know she won a comp, but it was the spelling comp, right? It's not like she's a big physical threat necessarily. Like I don't know. I don't think that anybody's looking at Lisa like they need to take her out immediately. And then maybe if she builds some relationships, because people kind of get used to her personality and her quirkiness or whatever, maybe she makes it far in the game. I don't know. You know,
I gotta tell you, I would flag Lisa as an early problem. All right, she's a dark horse to win this thing because she's one of those people who is annoying on the surface, but if you're having an emotionally tough time, I could also see you turning to her. And she's an interesting character in that way because I can see people being like, oh my gosh, she fucking pisses me off so much. But I also wouldn't let her go because she validates me.
Mm.
And I feel like she sees me, so even if people are annoyed by her, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to vote against her, which is it's an interesting layer in this social conversation. She excites me a lot.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey, well, that's actually that makes our draft even more funny because the last pick, right? That when it came down to it, I think you were trying to decide between Mackenzie and Lisa.
Yeah,
you went Mackenzie, so I went
all
Lisa.
right. Strat Chat exclusive. So I felt like I really wanted Mackenzie, right? Because Mackenzie was, not was, but she is like, she's a project manager. She works in construction. I just felt like she would be a woman that would not be steamrolled by the men, which is something that we see so often on Big Brother. So Gina had first draft pick, and we were down. So Gina picked Angela, and I was miffed because I did want Angela, right?
Uh-huh.
And we were down to it was Lisa, Mackenzie, and Kenny.
And that's what I knew. I only had two choices.
Exactly. I also knew I only had two.
I was like, nobody's picking Kenny.
Right, but I was truly torn, but I was like 55-60% on Mackenzie with the rest on Lisa, and I didn't know what to do. And I called John in the middle of our draft, and I was like, listen.
Did you really?
I did. I was like, I don't want to do you wrong. What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? These are our final picks. We already know we don't want Kenny.
Oh my God, I didn't know this. This is so funny.
I know. There's an exclusive.
I literally said to you, too, I was like, yeah, I don't want Kenny. I was just assuming you're going to pick either Lisa or Mackenzie, and whichever one you don't pick is the one I'm going to pick. That's literally what I said.
Right. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. I was like, I want to know what you think. I was like, I don't want you to think I fucked you over, but I do want to win. And I was like, I was like, all right, so you don't have a strong feeling. I'm going to go with Mackenzie. And I'm regretting it. Just based on what I've seen this first week, I think that Lisa, as irritating as she might be with her over-validation, I think she can use that in an emotional way to kind of, everyone needs that. People talk about, I want to come into this game, I want to be the cook, because that's how I make a place in here.
Mm-hmm.
Cooking is part of a love language, and if you are able to appeal to people on a one-on-one situation and make a genuine connection where they feel safe, the game doesn't matter anymore, right? I'm going to keep you in here because I think keeping your emotional support is what's going to get me to that 750,000, not knowing that she's going to cut you off, right? Because there's a coldness to Lisa also. I don't think she gives two figs about any of that stuff, right? But she's so good at making you feel like she does. Like, she's exciting. She's super exciting.
Well, imagine this season somehow comes down to Lisa, Mackenzie, final two.
Well, then, like, I actually would feel validated. That would not anger me.
That would be bad for Gina. But...
Oh yeah.
Although also tracks for Gina.
Oh, 100% tracks for Gina.
Should we?
No,
should we,
Quinn's gonna take me to the end. All right,
Should we
I
let,
believe in my boy.
Quinn will.
should we let Gina have Kenny as a replacement for Matt?
Who says she wants Kenny?
I know it's more like a punishment.
Exactly. I'd rather take a hit.
No.
Even if he wins, I still would not want to attach my name to him.
Damn.
Sorry to any Kenny kids.
Kenny kids.
I just like the alliteration. I couldn't think of anything else. Well, what else is K? You know.
Yeah.
Where do we even go from here? So the powers were won, right? Quinn got the deep fake HOH,
which is an infinitely better power, I think.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing power.
I know.
I'm
It is
so happy
incredible.
that it's Quinn that got it.
I know.
Mackenzie also goes by MJ if you're watching some of the feeds and things like that. Like that kind of came out. But I definitely get the feeling that Mackenzie does not know the game as well as Quinn. So like if there was a stronger power to go, I wanted to go to Quinn, and I think it was fantastic. Yeah. What an awesome power. You get to now come in and just usurp the HOH's authority and put up two people in secret too.
It's essentially a coup d'etat, but a secret.
Yes. Coup d'etat. That's why they didn't call it that again, because Jeff couldn't say it. What did he say? Coup d'etat?
Something like that. Which also, again, like Quinn truly is a super fan, because this veto competition, he was talking about how he wanted to. Did Quinn play it or not? I don't remember.
I don't think Quinn played, but I
I
know what you're referring to.
On the feeds, he was talking about how like he would want to spell out. What was it? Technotronics or tech?
I don't remember.
It was Technotronics. Yeah, he wanted to spell that out. He was like, but I
was like, oh, he's been here for the long haul.
Oh, I love that. And I was really happy to see this challenge back. It's
a fun one.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I kind of put this on the same plane as OTEV.
It's a good one.
It's not better. Like this one is really fun. I like the whole bee theme. I love the costumes. Oh, I love costumes. You know, I love it.
I know you were living for the mascots.
Yeah. Oh.
I just love the shots of the whole house with the mascots mixed in, because they look so ridiculous.
Yes.
So ridiculous.
There's a part of me that felt icky about like two POCs as mascots. It threw me back. Was it BB21? I think it was, or BB20. No, it was BB21. The Nicole Anthony season.
Oh,
okay.
21. Yeah.
Back to that, I didn't love it, and it's like, but I do realize it wasn't that, and like everyone was good to them, so it's fine. But like, they were fantastic mascots.
They really were.
Like they were like so much fun, and like, I love this cast. I have to say,
I like them a lot.
Like, while I want Kenny to go because he kind of gives me the ick, he hasn't actually done anything to really give me that. I'm just very cautious because of his background, but he hasn't actually done anything. These people seem so unproblematic, except for like Angela and her like rants, but she just seems like a person who's unhinged in a pressure environment. You know, like this is what we expect to see.
She's insane. She is completely insane.
She's insane, but I think in the best way possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It feels like strange to say.
No, I totally hear you though.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's like I don't feel threatened. I'm still not turned off by her. Like if she makes it to jury, I'm not mad. Like the problematic people, you definitely want to make sure they go. I don't want to look at you anymore. And it's like I'm not getting that from her. I wanted Angela and Matt to go at it until jury.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah, both of them, because I would love to see them continue in jury. Can you imagine if Matt went out first juror, and then Angela
my God,
how delicious would that have been?
They had to live together alone
a whole week,
right?
Wow.
And like, can you really imagine how all those things would go? Because they still don't have TV, they still don't have anything, right? So like, you're making breakfast, and it's like, I very easily could throw one more egg in this frying pan. But I hate your fucking guts. So do I do it? And then, like, how far do I push it? Do I wash the pan so you can use it right after? Do I just run some water in it and, like, act like I give a shit, but I don't? Like, what does one do?
Could you imagine,
Oh,
like,
God, it's so good. Oh, God. We need live feeds in the jury house,
yeah.
you know? Live
Imagine,
jury.
like
Hashtag.
Angela and Matt sitting down to play like a board game together.
Oh, please. Can you imagine them playing checkers? Oh, my gosh.
my god.
Or Mancala.
Oh my god, Mancala. That's me and Kyle's favorite game. We love Mancala.
Oh, gosh, I'll stay up until like 3 a.m. playing Mancala. I fucking love
Oh
it.
my
Yeah,
god.
those are the nights where Kyle's like, John, I have to go to bed by like midnight tonight. I have to go to work tomorrow, and then we're still playing Mancala at 3 in the morning.
And he's like, it'll be like 2:15. It's like, let's play 3 more games. And I'm like, all right.
Fine.
Like, it's like, listen, Kyle, you've won 12 games. I've won 12 games. We need a tiebreaker.
And I'm like, makes good sense to me.
You're right.
So,
You're so
somehow,
right.
Math
yeah.
is mathing.
Somehow this went from a best of 3 to a best of 25.
Oh, I love Mancala. Any Hoosers. So that's kind of where things were. We kind of discussed the Angela fight, I guess, in a way. I mean, is there anything else to add other than the fact that I thought that her behavior was deplorable? Like, like I kept saying on Twitter, like, there was some child out there saying that's my grandma. Like, some kid was like, hey, guess what? What are you doing tonight? I'm gonna watch my grandma. She's on this show. Have you ever heard of Big Brother? Like, oh no, please tell me things. And like, families gathered round to watch young Julius's grandma.
What just happened?
Kyle really paints a picture, I tell you.
Yeah. I felt like I was like watching a play.
Young Julius's grandma.
I don't even know that the grandchild is old enough to have conversations. I know nothing. I just wish the grandma, and there's someone out there who can say, if they can speak, that's my grandma. And like, can you imagine? Can you imagine you told your friends about this, and they're like, "Look at you, crazy eyes!" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's not my grandma. I was just kidding."
Yeah.
That's what, for that reason, I thought it was so crazy that she harped so much on like, Matt, your mother is going to watch this. I was like, your entire family is going to watch this, Angela.
Everyone's watching, except. Did you see that other TikTok where Angela is literally calling her mother a slut?
Oh my god! What?
All right. As I plan better for these streams, I would already have this loaded.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's kind of crazy.
What was worse? Do you think Angela's reference of Matt's family or Kylan's reference of Xavier's family?
That one. Definitely that one.
Kylan's reference was definitely far worse. So there is something on Twitter. It is a clip of a TikTok, because I don't do the tick. But it's that whole trend. It's like, oh, of course I'm a blah 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 and blah blah blah. You know how like
yeah.
Whatever that is. There is one here of Angela referring to her mother as a slut.
My mom's a slut. Of course she got kicked out of the senior living community for having sex with the residents. My grandma's a slut. Of course she looks good for her age. She gets a facial every night. My grandma's a slut. Of course the clinic knows her by name. My mom's a slut. Of course I didn't know who my dad was for the first 10 years of my life. My grandma's a slut. Of course her party trick is to dislocate her hip. My grandma's a slut. Of course when she smiles there's pubes in her dentures.
Oh my god!
Right?
What's happening?
Yeah, see, I knew from the start that Angela was way off. Something is not right.
Right? Like there's a problem.
I got the crazy vibes immediately. I'm not gonna lie.
That is wild.
So this is what we're dealing with.
Oh
so like,
my god.
Maybe there's some grandchild out there that was like, well, yeah,
just like
That
home.
is right, my grandma. That's her.
Oh wow.
It's just like home. Just like home.
Sounds like Thanksgiving.
I should have been
Liz.
prepared because you set it up very well, but I was not. I wasn't prepared at all.
I did the best I could. As good of a storyteller as I like to think that I am, I wasn't even prepared for where that went. You know,
Wow.
I had forgotten about it up until the exact moment it was relevant.
Wow.
Yeah, no, she's unhinged. So, good luck to the rest of the housemates. How did things end up? What is it? It's already 10:21. I thought we'd be 9 minutes from bed at this point. We had the
It's a
AI
crazy
arena. Who?
No, I just said it was a crazy week.
Yeah.
A lot to discuss.
So much going on. Yeah, so much. So Lisa wins veto, right? She won. She took herself down, obviously. Angela went forward and put Matt up. But not before they had a discussion where they kind of made up, right? They made up. And then the conversation was, if you could find somebody else who would be willing to be a pawn, I won't do it. But because of all the hubbub, I kind of have to put you up. Which I thought was a kind of a real conversation from Angela. Like that actually sounded pretty fair. No notes. I thought that was pretty honest. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted you to chime in.
No, it is just strange because it's like, yes, they quote unquote made up, but you could even see like tonight when Matt was giving his speech before they went in and voted, he was like going off in his whole thing. Like, I've had so much fun with you guys. I'd love to stay and play. And he was like, Angela, I forgive you whether or not you've asked for it. It doesn't matter. Like, I still want to extend that to you. And she looked at him like,
Yeah, as if I don't need to be forgiven.
Yeah, like she was still looking at him like, get out of my face. And I was like, I thought you were cool. Like, what's going on?
And she was so happy when she found out that Chemo won the AI Arena comp. I took a picture of her face. The face that she made. Oh my God.
Which, can we just say too, speaking of like the after effects of it, yeah, elated.
Screaming.
But like in regards to like the after effects of that competition, like this episode was a production nightmare. Did they prep the house guests at all for how this eviction was supposed to be run? Nobody understood what the time after revealing that Chemo 1 was supposed to be used for. Julie's trying to tell them like, no, you campaign, you can take people into other rooms, you could do stuff. They're giving their speeches. She's like, no, don't give the speeches. You give the speeches in a minute. Nobody's listening. Everyone's yelling over her. She's trying to talk while people are screaming. Then later on, as people are like voting, Joseph is just standing in the hallway between the DR and the couch because he didn't know he was the last one and that he was supposed to go back in. I was like, don't they get briefed on how eviction night works? What's happening here?
Oh my God.
I have a little theory here. I actually don't think the AI Arena was played live.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the competition was live. I think the results were live.
So they competed earlier. Even the three of them though didn't know who won. You think?
Right. Yeah. I think.
No, well, they found out in the moment which of them won.
Right, but I don't think the competition happened while we were watching. Like I got the feeling that from the way that it was a little choppy in between the transitions, and it made me feel as if Julie just said, "Oh, here's what we're doing," but the competition was actually like yesterday or this morning, but the results were revealed live.
Well, they would have had to have kept the secret of which of the three of them won all day long, though. Then,
yeah, I think they did.
Yeah,
maybe they kept the three of them sequestered.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think
they were all coming from upstairs when they came.
Yeah, that I know.
So,
yeah, upstairs from where?
I don't know.
What else is up there? Is that where the safety suite was, or wasn't?
Yeah, that's where that weird like third room that like they sometimes use for stuff. Yeah,
I'm saying just my theory. You know,
maybe
I
didn't pay attention to that.
A conspiracist.
Conspirator. Conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I was hoping for one word. I'd vote for conspirator. Wait, we have so many other things to do. Julie She had a new eviction outfit tonight. What did you all think? What did you think?
Oh, Julie. Oh, Julie. What are we wearing this week?
She looks like she's on like Broadway,
Yeah.
giving a really like dramatic ballad number.
I wanted to find a picture in which I felt Julie looked like she was displeased.
Oh man.
You know, so let us know things. Did you think this was hot or not? Or tepid? What's in the middle? Tell us things. You know, it's really hard to decide one way or the other. You know, comment hot, tepid, or not, or scan the QR code. Let us know things. You can see right on the screen here. This is what she had on as she approached the BB26 stage. What did you think of this? We got denim. We've got a couple of buttons down here. We got some silver platinum on our left wrist, bangling to and fro. A nice high bun with some curlies.
Curlies.
What you think? Hot or not?
I'm gonna be so real with you right now. It's gonna be a not from me.
Ooh, not a tepid. A not.
It's a not for me.
Wow.
She literally, she like lights up on Julie. I went, oh no, oh no.
Now, talk us through it.
Yeah.
Why is this a not? What missed for you?
I mean, for starters, just look at the shape of her legs as it goes down. Like, if you're gonna do like a wide leg at the bottom, it needs to be like a little something on the top. There's just like one long like rectangle happening. Like, I don't think it's
long rectangle.
It doesn't flatter her for me. I don't like the denim on denim. I don't. It's just for the first eviction of the season.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
Damn.
All right.
Damn.
What do you think, Johnny
Damn.
Toddy?
All right. Here's what I'll think. The outfit is not my favorite. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite.
Okay.
But I do think that she herself looked hot. I thought that her hair looked good. I thought the makeup looked good. You know, I like the earrings. I thought she looked hot, but the outfit wasn't really doing it for me. So I'm going to give her a tepid for this week.
That's fair.
Oh,
That's fair.
wow. So your final landing is tepid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you. Love the high hair. I'm loving the silvery platinum and white bangles and things that we have going on the left wrist. I think the denim top goes very well.
The denim top is good. If it was
Yeah.
paired with something else, I might be moving it to a hot, but
I think it's all very good. It's bringing me back to early 2000s, Justin and Brittany at the VMAs. You know, we love denim on denim. I think it's wonderful. However, this is a tepid. This is a tepid for me because I don't think this is appropriate for our first eviction, especially on the heels of what we've done this week with the Angela fight. We had a lot of things going on. We had basically the return of Battle on the Block, and it was live. So even if the competition wasn't live, the results were. So we got what should have been a very fun scramble, but I don't think they fully understood that there was a scramble time. I think they kind of got lost in that live
because I don't think they were briefed. Production
Yeah,
didn't tell them.
exactly. I think they missed it.
I also feel like Julie didn't do a great job here either. Like everybody was cheering for Chemo, and then they were like, "What do we do?" And Julie was like, "You have 60 seconds." And they were like, "Do we give speeches or do we talk?" And she's like, "Well, you can pull people." It's like, all right, well, we're already eating into the 60 seconds.
Right. And it's like, can I pull people or not? And it's
Even at one point, Matt was like, "Do I give it? If I don't give a speech now, will I have time to do it later?" And she didn't say anything, so he started giving a speech, and she was like, "Now is not the time for speeches." And it's like, "Girlie, he asked you. He asked you."
Yeah. I agree. I definitely had a thought where I was like, you know what? This is going to be much better next week.
Yes.
Especially once we get Chelsea back in the mix. I would really like to bring back something that we did during I think it was Big Brother Canada 11. We got to the end of this week. Like, yes, we have drafted our teams. We all did that preseason. I want to know, and I want to give points to people that I think are playing fantastically that may not be on my team. I want to go back to the three of us rating each person for the week. Who
Mm.
is your favorite? Who's your second? Who's your third? With absolutely no regard to your team.
Mhm.
If you want to give some points to your team, fine. But like obviously, let's go back to that. First place gets 3 points. Second place gets 2. Third place gets 1. Like let's go back to rating
Okay.
these people because I absolutely, hands down, want to give my 3 points to Chelsea.
Woo!
Chelsea is absolutely fantastic. She was the biggest part of my frustration over the weekend because she kept whispering and I couldn't fucking stand it. But I definitely put my ear pods in, right? Ear pods, AirPods, whatever they are. The Apple
Earbuds.
earbuds, AirPods.
There.
You knew exactly what I said. You knew exactly what I meant. But like I had to put them in and turn it up. I have to hear everything she says because my gosh, I can't. You forgot that she was a mascot with no power.
Yep.
Right.
Because there was no plan that didn't get discussed with her in some way. She was in every single conversation. Like the only person who was in as many conversations as her, which arguably should maybe be the number one pick. It's a close second, and it's gonna go to my team. All right, it is T Core. Okay, because T Core is in a
Interesting.
lot of conversations and says absolutely nothing.
I was gonna say
And
that's a big part of the reason why BB Twitter is criticizing her, though. They're like, you gotta give something. You can't just your
I'm
way through all
not
of these conversations.
I'm not sure you do. And for the same reason that I think that Lisa should be validated for some of her game, as while she's a little annoying for her over validation and my overuse of the word validate. I'm so sorry. But like T-Core does something that makes people want to talk to her. And it's interesting because when somebody is upset, they go to her. And it's that emotional respite, if you will. There's something to be said with you can mean something to someone without actually giving them something because what you've given them is a safe space. You know, information is currency, but that's not the only currency that we can use in a game like this. So I,
No, I
I
agree
get
with you.
it, but
Yeah.
I think that in the beginning of this, what are you trying to establish? You're trying to establish a situation. Just like if I'm hungry, I go to the pantry. If I'm feeling sad, I go to T-Core.
Mm.
There's something to be said for all that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And when I give my rankings, T Core will be in there. I will tell you that.
Okay.
I feel like I think it's way too early, unless it's like something very glaring. I think it's way too early to criticize somebody for like maybe not speaking as much. There's so many people in there and so many personalities, and with everything that's been going on between Angela and Matt and all this, I don't really blame T Core for wanting to say like, let me chill a little bit.
Sure.
Because like I haven't heard anybody say her name in a negative way, and while she might not be the most vocal person when people are maybe talking game, like Kyle has said, everybody it seems like is very comfortable coming and talking to T-Core whenever they want to, or feel they need to. So
yeah, I will also add that I agree with you, and this game strategy I'm not sure works 4 or 5 weeks in.
Right, exactly. Week
This
one, with all the excitement going on,
right? Especially with the drama going on.
Yep.
This is a good time to establish a place like that. So yeah. So thank you for giving me that. I didn't know how to explain that. So number 3, since I started this whole thing, when I wasn't. Yeah, no, I put myself on the spot.
I already know my rankings, so
because I wasn't really ready for this myself.
Well, I was hoping we would do this, so
Oh.
I'm already prepared.
You already came prepared. Got it.
I guess my last point. Well, it's got to be Quinn.
Gotta be.
It's got to be Quinn. Okay. Yes, it's Quinn because Quinn is maneuvering through this whole thing in a very interesting way, and it doesn't even matter that Quinn has the power. And I think that is what that moves him forward in this whole thing, right? Because he does have the power. But the person that I was going back and forth with is Tucker. And I think that Tucker is in a very interesting position as well because, like, he has had no power at all. But everyone is very endeared towards him. And I think that the way that he emotes, all the reason that we like to watch him on the feeds, just the way that he moves his body that we think is very quirky, and the way that he speaks is very funny. I know it's funny the way that he's going on about Lisa, and it's funny the way that he goes on about that. There's no way that people don't see him as that in the house, which makes him a very comfortably seated person. You know what?
Tucker's getting your point.
He's fun to watch.
He is going to get the point. He is going to get the point because he oh, it's not a knock to Quinn. How dare we go back and forth over this one stupid point? But like, I feel like Tucker has put himself in a place that is almost as comfortable as Quinn without a power, and that is what kind of impresses me. Because he's just entertaining to watch. Like,
I think I figured out why
against him. He's fun. Like
the other day, just watching on because Tucker had a wild day on the feeds on Monday too. Because there was one point where he was literally just like lying on one of the pool floats or like the chairs or whatever, just like hysterically crying. And it was like, what's going on? Like, is he okay? And he's like, it's just so hard to win, and it hurts so much to win, and I love it. And he's just like having a meltdown, and it's like, what is happening to this man? And in that moment, I said, oh, that's why I didn't know how I felt about Tucker. He's Enzo. And that's why
Enzo.
He gives me big Enzo energy. And I'm like, oh, there it is.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh.
I don't know about that either, but I will also say that I have always been endeared towards Enzo as well. So, like, I don't... who am I to say?
Until he quit on Desi in that final, in that Challenge USA final.
This is a Big Brother house tonight, so like that's a different conversation. We could definitely dive into that. I definitely was not digging that. But in a Big Brother universe, I've always been endeared towards Enzo.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I just kind of like where Tucker is.
No, I like Tucker, and when he totally ignored the Lisa's brother's birthday thing, I was like, yes, I'm on Tucker. I'm on board with Tucker. I'm on board with Tucker now.
So where do you guys want to put your points? I'd love to know what you guys are thinking.
Gina, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
You said you're ready already, so you go, right. And I gotta figure some stuff out.
I'm going to go from number 3 to number 1. So the person that's getting my 1 point, I'm going first.
Oh,
okay. I'm going to go first with this for 1 point. I'm going to give to T-Core. I love T-Core. That's why she's in my top 3. But the reason for this, and you'll understand, I think, why in a second, is because she was not really in danger this week. I think she did very well, but she wasn't really in danger. And I really liked her in the game, so she gets my 1 point. My top 2 spots are actually going to go to both mascots. So my number 2 person will be Cedric, and my number 1 person getting 3 points will be Chelsea. The reason that they're going in that order is because Chelsea is on my team, and I love her. And I just feel like I was very impressed with both Cedric and Chelsea this week, because I feel like other people in that same sort of position in week 1 would come into the house, feel like I can't compete in the veto, I can't vote, I don't have safety. I think it's very easy that in a past season we could have seen people in that situation come in and like panic and spiral and see themselves end up being, on the block by the end of the week. And I felt like both Cedric and Chelsea did a really good job of like forming relationships with people, getting on people's good side, getting people to want to work with them. Yeah. And now they've kind of set themselves up where instead they could have gone the complete opposite way. They both did really well for themselves, to the point where the whole house was like, we don't want to put them up. We don't want to vote for them. Like the house agreed on that, you know?
Yep.
So,
Right.
so, I would also like to take this moment, because I actually did this on Twitter already. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did change my name on Twitter, and
I missed it.
I will be standing Miss Chelsea for this season.
Okay.
Wow. The second stand. I am now the sole
Yeah,
holder.
I was first. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, who would have thunk? Okay.
Well, technically, I changed my name on Twitter 2 days ago to John Dunphy Bob.
Okay, well, I missed it, so it doesn't count.
I don't think I'm allowed to change my name on Twitter to anything but Basal.
Yeah, you're locked
fair.
in. Honestly,
Yeah,
your name should be Kyle Petty Basal right now. So it doesn't matter what show we're talking about.
I actually thought about that a while ago. Is that who I'm going to be? That means I never stand for any other show. It just felt like it's more than a double down. It's a triple down. It's a forever down.
It's a real commitment.
Forever down.
Right. It's like, that's just my name now.
I think I was John Dunphy Proudfoot last week. I was still
You were.
standing
You were.
cachet.
You
God, I
were.
love her. She's gorgeous. My God. Gina, top 3.
And see, I'm conflicted because you both had very strategic reasons why you picked your people, and as I'm looking at my list, I'm like just picking things that I find to be the most entertaining. So I can't decide how I want to do my rankings, but either way, I think it is very clear that the person getting my 3 points is going to be Quinn. If you're confused as to why, rewatch this episode and read my Twitter feed.
No, I mean, I think it's totally fair.
It's a solid pick. It's a solid
and I
pick.
think you should do more than just send people to your Twitter. Like, you should talk about it, because like Quinn has a lot of fantastic things going on, and unfortunately, in these rankings, you're the only one to give Quinn points. So like,
and truly, like, whether it is just
deserves.
like whether it is just the entertainment factor or from a strategic point, I would give my 3 points to Quinn regardless. I think he's really set up well right now.
No, I don't disagree.
No.
Now, I don't know what to do.
Everyone-
just worthy of the triple down.
Everyone is right. I will no longer be Kyle Petty on this podcast. I am always Kyle Petty Basal, and it won't change. So that's the end of that. So sorry to anyone else who comes forward as we go down the line.
No, you'll just be Kyle Petty Basal, other last name.
No.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I like that too. All right, good. Okay. It doesn't feel like the end of times. I was like, wow, we're locked down. I had to accept this.
No, you just have to expand.
Right. Okay. Just
Okay,
see what happens.
I think my other 2 point getters will be based on entertainment factor for me personally. And
That's totally acceptable, week 1.
I have to give my 2 points to Angela because
Oh,
Team
wow!
Fun Feeds! Team Fun Feeds!
Oh, I
Wow.
mean, you're not wrong. It just pains us greatly. It pains us greatly.
No, I think it's so fun. It's so silly.
Oh,
and then
we should be asking people. Go ahead, keep going.
Yes. My one last point, I think, will be
That didn't work out. We don't.
Yeah,
know.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, we didn't know what you said.
Okay, I'll say it again. My last point getter is gonna be Leah. I really like Leah.
I will say I picked Leah for my team. So I obviously always, well, not really. I didn't know anything about these people when we picked our teams. But I like Leah a lot more than I expected to.
Based on
She's
those
pretty funny.
preseason videos, I thought she was gonna flop hard, but I find her to be
She's
so goofy and so endearing.
Yeah.
I really like her.
She's very funny, and it was really funny to see her talking about some of the whole, being a chubby chaser this week on feeds and stuff. And actually, it was such a good opening to the was it last night's episode where the narrator was like, the HOH competition saw it come down to 2 seniors and a chubby chaser, and I was like, thank God Leah's here.
It made me fall in love too, though, with the narrator, It's like that is so specific to
Yep.
Big Brother US that like kind of gets overlooked. Like when I first started watching Big Brother, I used to get really embarrassed. Like if somebody was walking by, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, please don't come on when the narrators come.
Right.
Don't walk through here when the narrator's announcing this whole thing. But it's part of the cheese and it's part of what makes it so fun. And like, just in what world would you ever get like Chubby Chaser as part of the intro?
I know.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's just fantastic. It's just
I
so
will
good.
say, now, I don't know if you guys have seen this on BB Twitter, because I personally haven't seen anything on the feeds to allude to the fact that this might potentially be a real thing, but I have seen people on Twitter lobbying for a showmance between Leah and Quinn.
I've seen that also, that apparently they've been flirty.
I don't know where, I haven't seen any footage.
I haven't-
I'm not opposed.
I haven't really like noticed anything myself between the two of them, but I've seen a lot of people talking about on Twitter how they seem to be flirty with each other.
I think it would be so cute.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I would love it.
I'm
I'm very endeared towards Leah, and in the beginning I was a little turned off because like she was the one that had those intro videos. It's like, oh, my mom and sister watch.
Yeah, I
It's
really
like,
thought
all
she
right.
was gonna flop.
It's like you don't know anything, and it's like she does understand the game. She definitely watched with them. She's another one to watch. Yeah, she's interesting.
Yeah, I like. I feel like everybody in the cast pretty much. I'm saying I like that person even more than I expected to.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you guys a question though, and I saw someone in the comments mention it, but about Quinn telling Angela about his power. Now with the blow up from the blow ups from Angela throughout the house this week, do you think that was a bad move that Quinn told Angela about the power? Especially knowing how much power it is. Like
I know, it's just like, and again, if we're to believe the order of events that the edit showed us, because I didn't see this all unfold in real time, he told her before the blow up. I would love to believe is true, because if I'm telling somebody that I have a power, it is not the person with the biggest mouth in the house.
I think that Quinn is smart enough that he wouldn't have done this if the blow up had already happened. Yeah. Quinn seems like a smart enough player, so I don't think that the blow up happened. I just feel like, man, that kind of power, I don't know if I'd want to tell anybody about it.
Yeah, not week one.
Yeah.
Not week one.
If I've held on to it, until the third or fourth, because you can use it for the first 4 weeks, right?
Oh, I think my computer's about to shut down.
Oh, okay. Technical difficulties. But he can use the power for 4 weeks, right? I wonder, by the third or fourth week, maybe if you have enough trust in somebody and it's getting time, down to crunch time, maybe you tell someone about it. But this felt very early. Very early.
Yeah, it felt far too early. You just met. I mean, how long would they have been in the house at that point? They moved in on Tuesday. That means that whole blow up happened Saturday. So what, you told her Friday night? I can't imagine any situation where I would feel comfortable enough to tell people something like that after 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do worry that could potentially hurt Quinn if Angela, somehow spills the beans or something. But maybe, maybe she won't.
I should have been adding these things up on the side, but I didn't do it. The reason to follow us at Strat Chat Pod.
I also wonder, let me get your opinion on the powers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this deep fake HOH power has to be a one-time thing, right? It's just too much power to have like multiple times in a season, I feel like. But the America's veto power, do you think we could see that multiple times in the season? Do you think they're both just one and done? Or do you think they're both just one and done? Or do you think that like maybe America's veto might make an appearance again? Because that's a fun one you could do again.
I hope it's not a one and done.
I don't think they're going to do the deep fake HOH again.
No, I don't want to see deep fake again.
But America's veto, if they wanted to bring that back once or twice throughout the season again, I'd be down for it.
I'm down for that. I would also be down. Listen, I'll take back my words a little bit. I would be down for deep fake HOH if you brought back. Well, I chuckle because I think of Oz's face. Remember, you had to like earn like whatever amount of money or something like that.
BB bucks.
BB bucks.
Oh,
That's what it was,
God.
and spend them in the thing. If you earned it and you purchased, because that means you stayed in long enough to be able to afford it. You know what I mean? So like you're kind of being rewarded for banking your money and playing the game well enough to bank long enough. You know, I would accept that.
Right.
You get another deep fake, but otherwise,
Right.
I don't want you to just give it to somebody. No. But America's anything. Like, yeah, let us vote. I want to be involved more.
Do you also feel like it's kind of lame to have both powers? Like, let's say they are one and done, right? So after the first 4 weeks, there's no powers in the game. Should they have split them up then? Maybe like the deepfake HOH you can use for the first 4 weeks, and then weeks 5 through 8, all of a sudden America's veto gets introduced or something. So we have a power in play for a longer period of time. You know what I mean? Rather than just the first 4 weeks, 2 powers in play. After that, they're either just expired or they or they got used, and now that's it.
No, I like starting with both of them in play.
Okay.
I like when we treat Big Brother like a board game. You know, like there's multiple things at play. It just depends on how far you make it around the thing. Like treat them like players in a game. Like sometimes there's extra twists, sometimes there's not. You don't know what pitfalls happen. Like I don't know, when you're playing any other game, you can land on some random space and something crazy happens that just completely puts you at a disadvantage. That's how I want to see these players put through their paces.
No.
So no, keep throwing more powers at them.
Well, I want more powers.
Onslaught.
I agree. I would love to see more powers and twists and stuff like that. But if we're just getting 2, I guess I'm not even sure myself if I would rather have them both introduced right away or have it split up so that a power is in the game potentially impacting things for a longer period of time. That's all. That's
Right. Yeah, and I guess as long as these are not the only 2 powers we get.
Right.
If these are the only 2, then yeah, I would have rather them split up. This is under the idea that something else is coming down the road because these are
Right.
only good up until jury, right? Both of them.
I think they can use them up until week 4. Yeah. So
Yeah. So once you get to that point, as long as you introduce something else, then
I just hope they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
hope
don't
they do too.
I don't have a ton of faith.
Ooh. All right. Well, I trust them a little more than that.
Just being honest. Listen, after the coin of destiny debacle.
Well.
Coin of destiny. Destiny. All right. Well, do we have anything else for the benefit of the community?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just excited to see who wins HOH.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll find that out on Sunday. That is the only episode of Big Brother 26 that will be airing at 9 p.m. All other episodes have been moved to 8 o'clock. All right.
Love to see it.
8 Eastern. Yeah, which works really great for us because the Challenge 40 begins it's Long March, I'm sure. I feel like when we talk about the Challenge 40 past Christmas. Unless there's doubles or something, because there's literally 40 people in this cast, 10 people representing each era of the challenge, that starts the 14th. So coverage will begin on the 15th. I think everyone is in agreement. We'll be doing Big Brother 26 first, 15 minutes following the eviction episode. And then we'll be doing the challenge, which means that Claim to Fame, I guess, is on Mondays, unless we tell you otherwise. Lots to be decided. We went from having nothing to talk about to many things to talk about.
Ain't that always the way it goes?
Many things.
It is. But with that, catch our schedules on the socials. John really likes to post when we're streaming on the Twitter.
Yeah, I had gotten away from it. Well, there wasn't really anything.
Right, there was nothing going on. Right,
we were having like 1 stream a week, but now if we're getting back to 3 streams a week, full
Right.
screen, whatever it is.
It
that-
wasn't a read. It wasn't a read. I was just saying.
So, man, really put me on blast.
No, I actually thought I was doing the opposite. I was doing
I'm
like
just
John
kidding.
likes to post it. That's a
I'm
reason
just
to follow
kidding. I'm
us because
just
he'll
kidding.
let you know. Usually he posts it by Sunday night, exactly what you can expect from Strat Chat. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're everywhere you want to be, except Blue Sky.
Yeah, except Blue Sky.
Anything else for our friends out there?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging. We're out of here. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.